What is up, everyone, and welcome to the GPW show, episode 2. Today, we are giving a review on Backlash, the joint brand pay-per-view that happened last night. And I've got to say, it could be a quick review. I found the event to be very vanilla, very bland,
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Although that would assume we had expectations going into it, which we didn't really.
Not a lot of talking points, really.
No,
but we'll get into that. We started off though with the best match of the night.
I think it was actually a good match. I enjoyed this match.
Seth Rollins versus The Miz with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. And these two basically are the reliable men for WWE.
They are.
You need a good match, you need a good opener. Let's go to either Seth Rollins or The Miz.
I think that's what the Intercontinental Championship always has been, though. Whoever holds that is the workhorse, they always call them, don't they?
That is true. Yeah, Corey Graves will make a note of that during the match, actually, if I remember correctly. And it probably an 8 out of 10.
It was really, some of the reversals and counters they had were brilliant.
They were a hot crowd as well during the segment. I couldn't believe that second skull crushing when it connected.
I know, I thought it was over.
I did too. I was like,
so
wow,
surprised.
They've actually let him kick out of that.
It was weird going into this match. I thought this match is going to be pointless because obviously we know Seth Rollins is holding the championship because The Miz is not taking it to SmackDown.
Yeah.
But they actually had me.
Yeah,
generally like,
that's true. But in the end, our prediction came right because The Miz received a curb stomp and he went cross-eyed after receiving it.
We almost got an amazing second rope curb stomp.
Yeah. Oh my god! I was waiting for that to connect.
That'd have been amazing. Also, the second rope skull crunch, if that had connected as well.
He gave us some great facial expressions. The Miz throughout. He looked genuinely scared.
He looked dazed the entire time
when the figure 4 was in and Seth was about to reverse.
Oh
the
yeah,
pressure.
when he was like screaming in his face, Miz was like, "Oh no!"
And they actually held it in. But great match, great opener, and it was a great way to start off the event. But
it went downhill.
Yeah, quickly. Normally you get about halfway and it starts to turn and you go into a trough. But no, that was the peak. That was the peak last night. You then go into Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship.
This was extremely limited, this match.
It was. She was a bit sloppy, I must say, Nia Jax.
She was.
A bit lethargic in the motion.
There wasn't much Bliss could do either because of his size advantage and the strength.
Supposedly, Alexa Bliss has got a shoulder injury, which I'm not surprised on. The way Nia Jax came crashing down her after the time.
It didn't look
the
pleasant.
Beal froze.
Yeah.
To the other side of the ring. Nice DDT spot on the steel steps that I remember.
One thing that annoys me about that DDT every time is she has to do the little hand motion.
What's wrong with the hand motion?
Don't do it.
She does it before Twisted Bliss as well. That was a nice catch.
It's just one of those moments. Why every time? Why don't you just do the move?
Samoan drop. Nia Jax. The 1-2-3. Title successfully retained. Could be away for some time, Alexa Bliss, depending on this shoulder injury.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too serious.
Will be interesting to see who Nia Jax now goes on to take on.
There is the fact that this shoulder injury could just be a work.
It could.
To get her out of the picture for the time being.
But they build it up, didn't they? It was a whole bully line storyline. She even did the speech at the end, Nia Jax. And they had to get all the little information in what WWE does for be a star, etc.
Oh, yeah, big time.
It was a bit of a gimmicky match in that regards, but nevertheless, I think a lot of people expected Nia Jax to get the retain here and to go on to someone new.
It closed that chapter out. They can move on somewhere fresh now, which is a lot of what this pay-per-view is about, I think.
So after that, you're like, okay, well, you know, it wasn't as great as the first match, but, you know, we'll keep the faith. We've got Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy now.
This should be an instant
for
classic.
The United States Championship. And I've got to say, both men come out looking like they couldn't be arsed.
Jeff Hardy was wearing a bin bag.
Yeah, it was awkward as he couldn't do his old motion. He had to hold onto the title, so that didn't pop off.
I know, his title... Oh, it was a mess.
He was extremely shiny, Jeff Hardy.
He was.
In whatever he
actually
was
wearing a bin bag. I'm not joking. I think it was a bin bag.
I've just got in my notes. Slow-paced.
Extremely. They kept pointing out the methodical pace of Randy Orton. It was like, oh, that's just another word for boring.
The go-to line. And it was a simple twist of fate and swanson.
It was.
That was it.
The spike DDT was pretty nice.
Oh, that was a nice connection. Yeah, that was a nice connection. He teased the RKO, Randy Orton. He teased it. And then in the end, it was just a sweet.
Well, we got the nice twist of
victory.
fate, which he reversed, went to the RKO, pushed him off, and then obviously that led to the spike DDT.
And slowed down, the swanton was picture perfect.
It was.
It's like he's going to pack his head. He's
going
to break his neck.
It was a weird, awkward moment at the end there where he just sort of stays on top of him for a few seconds.
He doesn't know whether to go for the pin there or move his body
and then he just hooks
go
the legs.
For the pin.
It's like, okay.
But I did not expect that to go as clean as it did.
No, I didn't.
Randy Orton literally just got defeated by Jeff Hardy and there was nothing in it.
There was nothing. No controversy, no surprise, no shock. It was just the cleanest victory you could possibly imagine.
So Jeff holds on to the United States
I
Championship.
wonder if they're building Jeff up a bit for that bigger and better title picture.
It seems so, but it definitely seemed to me that both of them were like, cannot be bothered with this.
I think that was the gist for most of the evening.
Yeah, it definitely didn't give off a pay-per-view vibe.
It was too close to the Greatest Royal Rumble, I think. It was only 9 days between
It's
them.
very bunched together.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we've got a long distance
Yeah, it's
towards
about a
Money
month
in the
now, I
Bank
believe.
yeah.
Might even be 5 weeks.
Best segment of the night.
Oh,
then
these were
approaches us.
amazing.
So we do have a bit more of a peak, I guess,
We
at
do.
this point. After we've had the double trough now.
I kind of had a
The
smile on
Peacons.
this entire segment, I'm not going to lie.
So Elias is great. Elias is one of my favourites. He comes out giving, about to give another classic on the guitar. And then who interrupts him? New Day.
The New
holding
Day.
the biggest drum.
I
And
know, that were
sweating his ass off. Big
That
E.
were amazing. You see that
He was
massive
telling
drum
the
with Big E.
truth. He was telling the truth, Corey, when he said he's sweating like he's just been in a swimming pool. He was drenched.
He was.
How heavy was this drum that he had to carry?
I think
for
that's
the
just Big
entire
E, man.
time?
I think he's got a problem.
True. And then, so they're about to get in the ring, etc., do their thing, asking for a duet, basically,
Yep.
between Elias and themselves.
Elias trash talking him, saying, no, we're going to start this again. Hit the music once more time.
And then Aiden English.
Aiden English comes out. It's amazing.
With his own perfect introduction for Rusev. Rusev then comes out smiling away, smiling at everybody.
He's trash talking Elias and the New Day.
And it's like, we're gonna get like a 1-on-2-on-3
I
match?
thought it was weirdly going to end up being New Day versus Elias and Rusev and, 3-on-3.
Aiden English, yeah.
But then
No.
more people
No
come
way
out.
Jose then interferes.
Randomly with Titus O'Neil and Breezango.
I lost it when I saw Breezango because it was like they were just waiting backstage.
They just tagged
and
along.
they just pushed him out there to do something. But Titus O'Neil just
Titus
and
O'Neil,
Apollo Crews
Apollo
doing,
there.
Brooke.
It was like,
They're
what
all
has just
dancing
happened
around.
there?
And then at this point, Elias is losing it.
Oh, no.
He even starts losing his voice. He's that annoyed, which is great. He had a great reaction to the whole thing. And just when you think he's about to finally get his moment, when he goes, Jojo, you know what you have to do, and the light drops, it's like, no more interruptions. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Then a ghostly figure out of nowhere.
This was my favourite thing he has done in his entire WWE
Where
career at
did
this
he
point.
come from?
Did you see his face? It was the most troll face I have ever seen on a human.
But he...
He just, the
the
glorious
lights are-
hits, and he's just there. It's like, where did he come from?
But he was all black, the lights, and he went glorious.
He might actually
He
be an
popped
angel.
up- He popped up, hit him with a DDT, and then he starts twerking.
He does. He points to
everywhere.
nowhere. Jose don't need to hit his music. Get everyone dancing. Everyone's dancing. He's twerking in Rusev's face.
I agree.
Aiden English tries to join in the conga line. Rusev's like, no. That was a really fun spot, to be honest.
It's the most personality we've seen from Bobby Roode.
It is. I love
Since
it.
he's joined the main roster. He needed that. A bit of fun.
I see a lot of people complaining about it, but I thought it was so fun.
Looking at my notes, I think it's the best, or the second best segment of the night, really.
Yeah. It was
I've
the
got
best
second-
segment, the
best
second
segment,
moment.
second best moment, yeah. Seth and Miz won, and then that second. So another peak, another little peak there.
Yep.
And then that's it, basically. All downhill from this point on,
Yeah,
guys.
kind
All
of. There's a
downhill.
little blip later on where it comes back a little bit.
Brian versus Big Cass.
So this match started off exactly how you imagine.
Well, how much of a dork does Big Cass look when he comes down to the ring holding his arm?
Oh, I
up?
hate that. And
With
then
that
he were in
weird
the ring for
expression on
about
his face.
He were in the ring for about 20 minutes just doing that.
Yeah.
Although I say 20 minutes, the match were about 10 minutes long, if that.
I do like the storyline behind this, though. How Big Cass returned at the same point and he got overshadowed by Brian. I thought there's something in there.
Yeah.
And I do like the storytelling involved. I know a lot of people asking, like, this is a random match. It's not a random match. It actually had quite a nice little storyline attached to it. But the match, I mean, in our predictions, we said Big Cass is going to win. He's going to get a fluke
we thought he was
victory.
going to cheat to win, though.
Yep. And there's no way that Brian wins clean because they want to extend the feud.
It's weird.
They've kind of done that.
They have
in the way
kind of
they've
done it.
About it.
I kind of like what they've done, though, because Brian is a veteran.
Yeah.
This guy's not been going wrestling
and it
that
has
long.
been his first solo match back.
Brian is, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So to get him in a submission, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and they had a great line, actually. It doesn't matter how big you are when you're on the ground tapping out to a submission.
Exactly, yeah.
Everyone's the same size then.
Especially with the uppercuts that he did to the face. They all knocked him out.
But in the end, basic, simple match similar to Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. Brian just makes Big Cass tap out.
He does, and
so
then
Big Cass going forward for the rest of the year's got you tapped
well,
out.
I think they really worked well with that because he can get really annoyed. He can act really annoyed towards the crowd.
Well, I think he's tweeted out something along the lines of, "I walked out the victor tonight." Or it's great for my debut success,
Right.
etc. So they're playing it like he actually thinks he's got the victory.
Well, obviously after the match, didn't he? Went
attacked
mental and
Brian.
did the big boot and
Yeah, so that
Just
was the
decked
only
him.
bit of redemption, really. If Brian had won on that, I'd have been here. We're like, ooh, Big
Yeah.
Cass is done.
we've seen that before though, where the monstrous heel loses and then they go mental. We have seen that. I think it happened with Braun and Kalisto in that dumpster match.
But interesting online, just a couple of ideas from people. Big Cass could potentially be working with The Miz now as a new Entourage member.
Yeah, I could see that.
And that's how they bring The Miz in for the Daniel Bryan feud, etc. Once Daniel Bryan officially gets rid of Big Cass, I'm guessing they're going to fight again for the next couple of pay-per-views.
Yeah, they're definitely not finished.
And then we go for The Miz, the big one at SummerSlam versus Daniel Bryan,
That'd make sense.
which has had like a 3-year build now.
It has. Well, we never thought it'd actually have a payoff.
No.
You still look at that match. It's like, I cannot believe Daniel Bryan's back in this wrestling ring.
So at least they can keep going with that, but Big Cass made it look like a little bit really
Yeah.
for the short time.
It wasn't a bad match. It was just rather plain.
Yeah. As I said at the start, vanilla pay-per-view. It
Yep.
was like, it's okay, it's fine, but there's no sparkle to it.
There's none. Well,
And I don't
except
think
the
we'll
Elias
remember
section.
it next week.
No, we'll probably remember that Elias segment. That'll probably go down
potentially
for a little bit.
Potentially so. We then move into the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which is Charlotte versus Carmella. And I know she gets a lot of hate, but Mella is money, in my opinion. I
is.
bloody love what she does.
She plays a role to perfection.
Even when she started to walk out, and Charlotte was just there on
Yeah,
the post,
so
I'm
she
like,
just
"Oh."
casually walked around as if to say, "Where do you think you're going?"
I think it's a record for the amount of time somebody has spoken in a match.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah. She didn't
basically,
stop
She gave
talking.
a running commentary and was just letting off on Charlotte throughout the entire match.
I love the moment when she had her in some, I can't remember what it was now, it was some hold, and she did the woo, Carmella, and you see Charlotte just lose it and tries to get out of this thing pronto.
Charlotte looking like she's about to cry during every submission as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
So she made them look very painful. In the end, though, another strange victory.
Well, she got a roll up when she tweaked her knee, so it's kind of like one of those things of,
Well, she goes for the moonsault,
yeah.
tweets the left knee. They go, look at the knee, look at the knee. Everyone's looking at the knee. It looks perfectly all right, like she's landing it. And they go, oh no, it's buckled, so it's buckled. Okay, we'll take that. And then she just gets thrown back. And Mella puts
Yeah.
all her body
Which
weight, all
isn't-
40 pounds of
Yeah,
it
because
on
he
top
isn't
of her.
much body weight.
And gets the deep pin, I think, what somebody called it on commentary. And that was it. Carmella retained somehow.
One crazy thing about this is, that woman beat Asuka at WrestleMania, and she's
know.
just lost to Carmella.
Twice.
It's like,
She's lost to Carmella
well,
twice now.
the cash-in's a different story.
twice.
But this time it feels like
Twice.
it's weird.
We're going to
It's
have
weird.
a Corey versus Byron bit going on here. Like, no, she won it twice. But we said that in the predictions, didn't we?
We did. We knew she was going to win. It
Otherwise,
seemed crazy
it's just
for
a
her to lose.
pointless cash-in.
Yeah.
After the amount of time she held it,
Yeah.
you've got to at least give her a couple of
I
months
think
of the
she-
championship.
I
She's
could
a great
see
heel
some
as well.
dodgy stuff going down where she gets cashed in on at Money in the Bank from the second women's match.
Oh, Charlotte's winning, ain't she? I've just thought.
Something like that will
Charlotte's
happen.
going to win it and win it back like
Something like that will happen. Some weird.
Carmella, it's over. So up next, we had AJ Styles versus Nakamura for the WWE Championship. WWE Championship, basically in the middle of the card, not
Yep.
in the main event.
Well, I can see why this wasn't the main event.
Once again, I've got to say, AJ Styles is kind of carrying Nakamura.
He is. I don't know. I was kind of enjoying this match. I like to see the vicious side of Nakamura. It just all came to a head at a very particular crappy end.
So in my notes,
Yep, go on.
I've got bloody chair cheek spot.
That was crazy. Like, he threw
Brutal.
it at the Kinshasa.
Kinshasa
it rebounded, hit AJ in the face, and busted his face open. It's like, hang on, he's just thrown a chair at himself there.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Everyone had a expression of, "Ooh!"
It was the
that did
sound
not
it
go
made as
to
well, like,
plan."
shh.
Yeah, it was a great spot actually. In the end, they're gonna replay that on SmackDown.
Oh,
and, like,
big time.
Anytime something legit happens, it's like replay slow motion.
Yeah.
Thank you. There. They did the same when it hit the forearm to the back of the head. Of
Oh, that was
Nakamura.
mental, that.
Almost took his head off. We had yes chance for AJ.
Oh, that- yeah.
Finally low
Nakamura
blowing
gets the low blowing, and he's about to lift him up, and AJ goes for him. The crowd loving it.
That is great storytelling. Like, for weeks, everyone's been waiting for AJ to get his comeback, and then that moment right there is the payoff where everyone's like, yes!
I like how they had Nakamura
Finally.
draw first. It wasn't like AJ went straight in for the low blow. Nakamura had to do it in the match before AJ went for it.
Yeah. And this feud has obviously been overshadowed by the low blow controversy.
Yes.
And they're continuing it because the end double kick, low blow, takes both men down for the 10 count. And the referee calls the end to it because none of them can stand up at 10.
I hate it and love it at the same time because it's hilarious that a match ended on a double low blow.
Yeah, we're still rolling with it.
But the mental thing is, no DQ match, why is there a count?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Like, rules,
Yeah,
what are they?
Yeah. Anyway, the crowd was absolutely dead for it.
I was pissed
They
at
had
that
to
point.
put AJ Styles music just so there was some sound in the arena.
Well, they all pretty much stood up there to say, what the hell was that?
Because it was extremely awkward. And AJ retains, and we're going into another match with him.
Yeah, but now Samoa Joe is on SmackDown, so
Yeah.
things might get a bit more interesting.
Yeah. Oh, they did say, though, of course, Nakamura actually didn't lose that. You know, he didn't get pinned.
Yeah,
et cetera,
true. So he's having another
will
match.
be back, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Maybe he'll win Money in the Bank.
And there you go. WWE Championship match done. So, penultimately on the card, it was Bobby and Braun, BMB, versus KO and SZ.
SZ.
That's how it is on the Titantron.
Yeah. Yep.
KO and Sami Zayn.
This match was weird. Did we need to see this match?
Yeah, another one of them matches where it's just a throwaway. It's to give the victory to the new re-debuting of Bobby Lashley, isn't
Yeah.
it? Which he almost failed, by the way, once again, when he goes for the one-handed stalling suplex.
Yeah.
He did the same to Big Cass in the Greatest Royal Rumble, and as soon as he took it to one-handed, he almost dropped Kevin, and he had to bring it back.
I don't think he's as strong as he thinks he is.
Maybe not anymore. He was at one point, but maybe not anymore. And Kevin maybe not the guy, and Big Cass maybe not the guys to go for that move.
Yeah,
I know
you should
it's
have done
a
that to Sammy if you were going to do it to
Go
anyone.
for Sammy. Go for Sammy. Sammy runs away.
That's the interesting part about this match is Sammy and Kevin Owens.
I did laugh actually, as I was just about to say, when Sammy runs away for the first time around the ring, Kevin's just
Oh
getting
my
up
god! And he gets
clobbered.
blasted by Braun, and then he just runs past him and still chases down Sammy.
And then he gets hit again and turns
That
inside
was
out.
pretty funny. But
Well-
then Sammy tries to escape, doesn't he? And Kevin's like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
we need
a
this
fight.
victory."
It's on my t-shirt,
It's
Sammy.
weird. It's
fight.
almost a face thing to do from Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
It's like I wonder if they're foreshadowing at something in the future because we've yet to see him go face in his entire run.
Yeah, he debuted as a face, didn't he?
He
That
did
was
actually,
it.
and that was like one
Against
episode.
CJ Parker.
Yeah.
And he got busted
And then the
open.
same show, he turned heel.
Yeah. And then they kept on throwing one another back in the ring.
He slapped him. He
sacrificed.
proper slapped him in the face, and Kevin was like, "What did you just do?"
Did you just slap me?
Yeah.
Did you just slap me?
And Kevin were dying to get his hands on, and then he was cornered, Sammy, between Kevin, Braun, and Bobby Lashley, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is going to be sweet."
Yeah, anyway, in the end, Bobby hits the Bobby's Dream. And
On Kevin, not on
yeah,
Sammy.
That's what he calls it, by the way.
The Bobby's Dream.
Bobby's Dream.
Okay.
No, he doesn't, unfortunately.
Well, he's going now. That's what it's always
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be known
Bob-
as.
I also got plenty of Twitter messages saying I couldn't actually focus on the match because, once again, I was thinking, what are them eyebrows on Bobby Lashley? Are they tattooed on, or does he use a Sharpie on them?
People might be wondering what we're talking about. In
Yeah.
our predictions live stream, which is on YouTube, we did discuss his eyebrows at length and never came to the ultimate conclusion.
Yep.
Just to add a bit of backstory to that.
In our predictions, we called it Bobby and Braun for the victory.
I mean, only an idiot to pick Kevin and Sammy, I think, to win.
Yeah, it was never going to go their way. But at least we get a thread of another storyline going away now.
Yep.
Them two probably working towards SummerSlam, potentially.
Yeah, one more match for the 14th time.
Talking about one more match, that's all we've got left now.
Oh boy.
And our main event. And it is Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. And this got off to a quick
This
start.
started epic. I thought, oh my god, this match is going to be great. Finally, redemption for the entire pay-per-view.
Uranagi through the table straight away.
Supposedly, that's the quickest table break in a match. I
Was
think.
it? Was
I
it?
think,
Or did Coach ask WWE stats and information guys, could he get a time? Or
Oh,
could he-
right, okay. Did he
I
get
think
it
they
wrong?
were asking for it.
Oh, right, okay.
And I don't think he ever got a response. Maybe I was
So
looking
it's
at
probably total BS then.
I'm not going to lie, a lot of this match I was looking at our phone during it, so I could have missed some information.
Oh, you
but I
didn't
only
miss
heard-
much.
So Uranagi through the table, then he throws him over the other table, he hits a load of chairs.
He does it twice, I think, doesn't he?
Corey
Throws
gets
him in-
cut off.
And the Spanish team tried to jump over the wall and struggled monumentally.
And the match hasn't even started at this point.
Yep. Joe goes back into the ring. Eventually, Reigns ends up back in the ring. The match starts. And
Interesting note, a lot of people left during this match.
Well, I'm
on
not
Twitter.
surprised because we end up in holds for about 20% of the match.
Yeah.
No, change that to 40% of the match.
Joe controls the pacing throughout, which, as you said, involves a lot of holds.
I get holds. They're a heel thing to do, but not at pay-per-view. On Raw and SmackDown, I get it, but not a pay-per-view.
Honestly, I think we're almost at a time, though, in this day and age, that we kind of have to move past that.
Yeah. Pay-per-view matches, especially between these two monsters, should be hard-hitting and just constantly moving.
Anyway, the crowd, as I've seen on Twitter, a lot of them did leave during this because they were bored. Well, there were chants of delete.
Rusev Day.
I heard CM Punk, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I heard
I think
CM Punk.
Joe were loving it, to be honest. He kept like laughing at the crowd and sticking his tongue out and smiling at the crowd, so he knew what he was doing. He knew he was winding them up.
Yeah, I understand where they're coming from with the holds, to slow it down and to try and get some
They just went
momentum
on
for
a
Roman.
bit too long.
But no one's cheering for Roman, unfortunately. In the
I think
arenas.
that's what they
20%
wanted.
of them
I think they probably said, do these holds, make it super boring.
Yeah, so
people were like, Roman, power out and actually come back from this thing. But it's just not working. It's never going to work.
I must say, spot of the night does go to this match, though.
Which one are you
Roman
talking about?
Reigns running dropkick, side of the apron.
Yep.
Joe catches him into
Into the
cocaine clutch.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was really nice.
Is that the one that he locks in for a while and he hooks his arm with his leg so he can't get to the ropes?
It might have been. Was that the one where Roman starts to fade away?
Yeah, and you think,
like,
oh my god, it actually might win. It actually might win.
His eyes have rolled back. That's
Yep.
it. And then it was like, Roman Reigns!
The old Hulk Hogan moment.
Yeah, and from that point, I think he hits does he hit a spear and
He hits
Joe
a spear.
kicks out? Or the rope. The rope.
Yeah, and he puts his foot on the rope. And then he goes for another spear, I think, and Joe kicks it and gets him in another cocaina, which he gets out of. And then he goes for a muscle buster then.
Yeah.
Somehow Reigns jumps over him, rolls across the ring, and spears him.
And it was a really weak-ass looking spear as well.
It just didn't feel like a pay-per-view match.
It was like Joe went through all of that just to lose there. Obviously, they want Roman with a victory after what he's been through with Brock Lesnar.
Well, they were billing it, weren't they, as must win for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, otherwise it'll be on like the downturn of a century. But
why can't this monster
predictable.
just destroy him again?
Yeah, it's the predictability which is just absolutely killing Reigns at the moment. We called it in our predictions. And I said that's what's going to happen. Even the spear, when he starts rebounding off ropes, etc., and they tease it,
Yeah.
you just know one final one's going to hit. Especially how many coquinas Joe had locked in.
I know.
It's like if the referee's not calling it when Roman Reigns is asleep,
Yep. It's like, what
there's no
the hell?
hope. Unless they could say Joe's going to go away now and say, look at this footage, mate. I had him passed out. Why didn't you call it stupid?
Yeah,
little ref?"
that's what they should do if they're smart, but they're not smart half the time.
Also,
so.
interesting side note, didn't know that referees could now just get on Twitter and go, oops, my bad for the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns.
Really? Is that what he's done?
Greatest Royal Rumble. Yeah, he went,
Oh my
we're
God.
just concerned for both competitors, so I just basically panicked and called the match. So that referee went online and said that. There you go.
Wow.
So we've got a conclusion to that match.
Wow.
Ending now for the Universal Championship.
They're building Roman up still, aren't they, for SummerSlam, where he'll face Brock Lesnar for the 9,000th time and he'll beat him this time. That's going to happen, isn't it?
I hope not.
If they're smart, Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar.
All three, screw it. That's Backlash, guys. Unfortunately, not a lot there to go off. I'd say 4 out of 10.
Yep.
4 out of 10, and 2 of them points are for the AJ Styles chair shot which he received, which I'll always remember.
Yeah, it was wonderful. They had a couple of moments, but not enough to be a great pay-per-view. Luckily, Money in the Bank is the next pay-per-view.
I'm going to say, the only good point about this is now we are approaching Money in the Bank, which is June 17th. So a nice long build now. We can all take a rest. We don't have 3 pay-per-views crammed really close together. So there we go. Backlash pay-per-view done for episode 2. And we'll see you on episode 3 for Money in the Bank.